DC Showcase: Death in the Family. A movie that showcases 5 separate DC animated short films, each with different characters, a unique story, and distinct animation styles. The first short is a follow-up to Under the Red Hood, titled Death in the Family, which is also an adaptation of the comic from the same name. I haven't read the comic, so I don't know how faithful it is, but I'm certain a lot of it was condensed since it was turned into a short film. The movie almost felt noir, the way Bruce Wayne was recounting the events from Under the Red Hood, like a man recounting the events of a crime scene. All Wayne needed was a cigarette and his fedora. The format of Bruce Wayne retelling a story allowed for a good pace for a short that needed to summarize an entire movie in under 20 minutes. But this format also worked because the audience was able to get insight into Batman's thoughts and intentions behind a lot of his actions in Under the Red Hood. The movie reveals that Bruce Wayne sees Jason as his own son and even applies tough love with him to force Jason to understand his own faults. But Batman fails to protect Jason from himself and ends up losing his fallen son once again. At the end of the short, it's revealed Wayne was recounting this story to Clark Kent, who gives Wayne some sage advice, and we even get some insight into how Clark and Wayne's relationship is. They both jokingly tell each other they have contingency plans to take one another down. If Batman or Superman lose their way, they know how to take each other down. But it also reveals a certain level of respect between these two classic heroes. Superman and Batman recognize each other's strengths and willingness to fight for good, but also recognize the threat their powers can pose to the rest of humanity. It's this cool relationship that's explored in this short film that kind of reminds me of Xavier and Magneto, except Magneto leans a lot more on the villain side, but you get the point. The second short is Sergeant Rock, played by Carl Urban, who leads a ragtag team of monsters to rescue his fallen comrades. The team consists of Frankenstein, a werewolf, and a vampire, and there's no humor or silly tone like the Suicide Squad includes in its stories. This team, or the Creature Commandos as they're called in the comics, is unhinged and violent. And there's moments in the short that give us insights into the characters. There's a moment where Frankenstein's monster stares at a zombie who is being electrocuted into life, just like Frankenstein's monster was being brought to life. I'm sure the giant brute sympathized with the zombie. There's a moment where the vampire is slowly slitting a Nazi's throat and is about to eat him alive until Sergeant Rock puts an end to the Nazi's miserable life. They're still humans, not food for you, is the line Sergeant Rock says to the vampire. That scene revealed to me friction between the vampire and Rock. Sergeant Rock only sees the Creature Commandos as monstrous brutes who are not to be trusted. Except for the climax of the short, where Rock is forced to shoot down the resurrected body of a fellow comrade named Dozer, who was brutally experimented on and transformed into a lifeless and violent zombie. At that point, Rock does not give a fuck anymore, and gives the Creature Commandos permission to brutally annihilate and eat the Nazi scientists. I know this was way before James Gunn's animated project. I think this movie was released along with Batman Hush as a short film before the movie, but this short got me excited for the Creature Commandos, and I'm excited to see what James Gunn comes up with. I hope it has a distinct tone to the Suicide Squad, but I have a feeling Gunn is going to make the Creature Commandos almost like a precursor to the Suicide Squad. But that's alright, I'm sure I'll enjoy the hell out of the show as well.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. Had to go number 2.
The third short is Adam Strange, which is a character I had never heard of before this short. I was surprised by how bloody and mature all of these shorts were, especially this one. There's flashbacks in this short of when Strange was too late to save the love of his life, when these brutal Thanagarians come to his planet to conquer and slaughter everyone. It was awesome and bloody as hell. Adam Strange is like the Guardians of the Galaxy of DC in the sense that there's this whole other universe separate from the main heroes. Adam Strange is on another planet that isn't affected by the Justice League, or at least yet. I'm sure in the comics they cross paths at some point. You can also say he's like the Hancock of the DC universe. It would be cool to see Adam Strange on the big screen in the DCU. There's a lot I didn't understand, and I wish the film went more in depth. Strange's relationship with his lover, how Strange got his suit, whatever that thing is, and what the fuck is a Zeta beam. But it's understandable why they didn't, because it's a short film and they only have so much time to tell their story. Adam Strange's short almost felt like a western. A mysterious man shows up at a settlement and ends up helping the people there who are being ravaged by cowboys, or aliens in this case, with long tongues and acid breath. The fourth short is The Phantom Stranger. One word: groovy. It was refreshing to watch a character that isn't one of the more popular DC characters. The The story was fun and exciting. Just like the other shorts, this showcase explores mature themes and features scenes that are not suitable for some kids. I was looking at the credits and saw some notable names like Michael Rosenbaum, my boy Lex Luthor who plays Seth. He's this groovy hipster who lures purposeless teenagers into his home to party and sucks their souls. Bruce Timm, who also directed this short, was also the producer for Batman the Animated Series. The animation style of this showcase was reminiscent of that animated series. To be honest, the Phantom Stranger wasn't very interesting to me. The characters who really caught my eye was Marcy and Seth. Marcy is this lost teenager who's just looking for her truth and purpose in life. She was more three-dimensional and interesting than the Phantom Stranger. I needed to learn more about the Stranger and his backstory, but I guess that was Bruce Timm's intention, to focus more on the characters like Marcy and Seth and use the Phantom Stranger more as a narrator and Deus Ex Machina. The last short is Death, based on the character created by Neil Gaiman in the Sandman universe. This show was different from the rest of the showcases as it was touching and almost made me cry. It's a story about a struggling artist whose inner demons have caused him to lead a life of depression and misery. It's not your typical DC Comics story, as it doesn't feature superheroes flying and saving the day, or even a happy ending. It isn't until Vincent, our main character, faces death that he truly finds peace and withers away his true demons. It's sad and cathartic at the same time. It makes me realize our time on this earth is so limited, and we need to take advantage and live in the moment while we're still here. That little boy who would spend hours drawing and fell in love with art turned into a depressing and poor artist. And that broke my heart because we are all so young and innocent. But it's life and the rest of the world that sometimes breaks us. I can't believe an animated short made me feel this way. Recently, I've dealt with the death of a family friend. I wasn't particularly close with this person, but his children were my childhood best friends. This short, along with my family friends passing, really pulled at my heartstrings and has made me want to live more in the present and value my parents and loved ones and spend time with them while they're still here on this earth, and also deal with any traumas that I'm carrying before it's too late. So if there's anything my audience can get out of this video, is exactly that. Live in the present. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking and subscribing. I'll be posting more videos like this one. My name is Marcy, and
Groovy.
Pull up in that mask where you just want some fanfare. These days humble come rare. Flashy looks people